We are loved beyond measure. At some point, you just have to trust her. She loves you more than you will ever know. She wants us to love one another.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Priestess at the Altar. I'm happy to have you with me today, this Sunday morning. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to open the way we usually do with our brief breathing meditation and prayer, and then I am going to read you something and then read you another thing. Something that I found this morning. Our message today comes from The Goddess Path by Patricia Monaghan, which is one of the first goddess books I think I ever bought. So a throwback to the beginning of my personal path, which I think you'll enjoy. And then the video that I'm going to post is a poem that I wrote. But before I get to all of that, let me just say again, welcome, happy Sunday morning, wherever you are. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. You're going to breathe in through your nose, hold for a few seconds, out through your mouth, just to get us centered. And I'm going to take these breaths with you. If you want, you can close your eyes. You don't have to. But you can if you choose. If you want to keep your eyes open, that's also perfectly fine. So let's get started. We take in our first deep cleansing breath. Let's do that again. Hopefully you are now centered with me. And I would like you to, just for a moment, imagine a silver thread that connects me to you and you to me. Everyone watching this video right now, or those who will view this later today or later this week or down the road, I want you to imagine that silver thread that connects us all in all different places at this time, all over the world. For it is our love and our passion for faith that brings us here, where we can spend just a little time to commune, to be still, to feel the life force of human connection, which also connects us to her. For we have been drawn together in the light and the peace and the love of the goddess. And together we all say, Amendeya. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I've been thinking about this goddess path that I'm on, and kind of where it all began. And of course, as probably many of you, I can look back in my life and realize that the goddess has been with me always. But I didn't necessarily know that at the time, but I know it now. Um, but I bought this book that I mentioned, this Patricia Monaghan book, which has a companion book. This is The Goddess Path, and then she wrote a follow-up called The Goddess Companion. And this book was published in 2004. 2004. So that was the beginning of my reading about how to be on a goddess path. And I wanted to read something from her introductory chapter, Basics of Goddess Spirituality, because I think it is poignant and timely, and hopefully you will get something out of this. So she writes, the goddess within, the goddess outside. Where is the goddess? Is she inside us? Or is she outside in the universe that surrounds us? Or is she perhaps both? I have to take off my glasses. The question of whether divinity is immanent within us or transcendent outside us is one that is argued in many religions. Both visions can be held simultaneously in the same religion or even within the same worshiper. Among Christians, for instance, the Society of Friends primarily argues for an immanent Godhead, while many individual Quakers believe in a universal divine force. Similarly, most Calvinistic Protestants locate God outside humanity, in heaven, presumably, but also allow for the presence of the divine in each believer. The old man in the white beard, whom many of us as children envisioned to be God, is a classic description of transcendent divinity. The still small voice of conscience is a classic depiction of immanent deity. Because the goddess path is an evolving religion, there is no single final doctrine on this subject. Various speakers and writers hold dramatically different views. To some, the goddess is essentially an inner experience. To others, she is a vast force in the universe, utterly beyond human imagining. We've talked about that here some. Yet others see her as both transcendent and immanent, with the inner goddess being mystically connected to the external. Let us look at each of these visions of the goddess in turn. And just for the record, and I know I've spoken about this before on Priestess at the Altar, but I am a big proponent of as within, so without, that yes, the goddess is something out there to which I turn for guidance and support, but she is also within me. And I think I've mentioned before, that final line in the poem, The Charge of the Goddess, is I'm paraphrasing, but something like, if you seek it without, you will never find it within, and you've got to go within. But the final line, I am that which is attained at the end of desire, means that she is also within us. Anyway, an immanent goddess appeals to many, for one can feel a tremendous and consoling intimacy with such an interior goddess. Goddess studies in such a framework usually become a part of psychology, although, as we will see, archetypal psychology bonds the inner and the outer goddess. Books that discuss the connection between the goddess and women's emotional lives generally assume an immanent goddess, as do workshops and teachers who encourage us to connect with the goddess strength within in order to better our lives. One of the most appealing aspects of this vision of the goddess, in fact, is its immediate application to daily life, locating within ourselves the steely energy of Athena, for instance, can be useful in helping us through professional difficulties. Finding the soft spot in our hearts where Aphrodite dwells can prepare us to receive love. The immanent goddess does not exist outside the forms that embody her. These need not be human. Many cultures have seen goddess energy as immanent in nature, with each plant having its own resident spirit who lives and dies with that tree or flower. Mountains, boulders, stars, each can be seen as occupied by a unique goddess spirit. Such a completely immanent goddess is not immortal, except insofar as goddess energy always exists in innumerable forms. But each individual goddess, like so many wood nymphs, is mortal. The immanent goddess did not create the rose, she is the rose. She does not take care of you, she is you. Great power exists in the image of this immanent goddess for women. Finding a connection to a divinity within themselves can be transformative, enlivening, empowering. For men, the connection to an inner goddess can both help sustain a connection to real women and heal social wounds brought on by the crippling of the feminine in our culture. But a vision of the goddess only as an immanent presence, some problems too. But a vision of the goddess only as immanent presents some problems to her worshippers. For those brought up in religion with a transcendent god, a goddess who exists only in the mind and the heart somehow seems unreal and not truly divine. Queenly Hera seems less powerful when she can only be found in shards here and there in the souls of women struggling to make sense of their complex lives. Calling on the mercy of Kuan Yin can seem less comforting if we cannot envision her as being truly outside of ourselves and therefore able to offer help. Thus, many are drawn to the image of goddess as transcendent, as a force of nature existing outside of us. This goddess is frequently seen as the universe itself, Mother Nature, the great goddess, the great mother, vast beyond words, powerful beyond measure, timeless and immortal. She can never be trapped in a single time or space. There is a certain appeal in the picture of a divinity who is so totally separate from us. We become children of the universe, happy in our knowledge that somewhere, increasingly, a great mother is taking care of us. There is also a moral and ethical dimension to the comfort transcendent divinity offers. We need only follow external demands, what some religions call commandments, to know that our actions are appropriate and right rather than making each decision through an arduous process of inner search. But as with the immanent goddess, there are negative aspects to this image of the goddess as transcendent. Such an overwhelmingly powerful goddess may seem too separate from her tiny creations. We may feel that nature is an impersonal force with no particular interest in any of her many creatures. Such a goddess faces the same difficulties as the sky god who was forced to reassure his children that not a single sparrow fell from the sky without his knowing, for the truly transcendent goddess can seem distant or even uncaring. These two descriptions define the extremes of theological thought on this subject, but in practice, most travelers on the goddess path today perceive divinity as both immanent and transcendent. They find the goddess within themselves, a power to be called on for strength and vision in facing life's challenges. But they believe as well that the feminine force of the universe is larger than themselves. They believe that she can be found suffused throughout nature, but that she also is a force beyond individual plants and animals and persons. Archetypal psychology offers the vocabulary for discussing the connections between the inner and the outer goddess. An archetype is an elusive concept, perhaps as many definitions as there are archetypal psychologists. First articulated by the great psychologist Carl Jung, the archetype is like an energy template, a form into which the force of the universe naturally flows. As natives to this universe, we are hardwired to recognize these patterns when we encounter them. Thus, the Great Mother is an archetype that both expresses and contains the universal force of mothering. We instantly recognize this force when we encounter it in dreams, in myths, and in our waking lives. Archetypal psychology then gives us a vision of a transcendent goddess who is also immanent. The goddess exists, and this framework is something like an endlessly divisible hologram. Every fragment is completely her, but no one fragment can be said to contain all of her. This is the framework most often employed in the discussion of goddess meaning. To the question, where is she? In here or out there? This book answers both. She is universal nature, eternally creating and changing, unknowable and vast, a force beyond our limited comprehension. But she is just as much within our hearts and our bodies. She is the force of sexual attraction and of motherly affection, of righteous fury and steely intelligence. She is all, she is everything, she is around us, and she is within us. We cannot be without her, and we can never encompass all of her. That's just beautiful. And I think it is a really good summary of the answer to that question. Is she in here or is she out there? And I know that's something that a lot of people who are new to Goddess Path struggle with. So that's the main reason I wanted to share that today, because recently I'm on this weekly call through the Divine Feminine app, and I've met some new women who are new to this path, and it's one of the most common questions I hear when people are kind of struggling to define their own beliefs. So I hope that was helpful. Again, that was from the book The Goddess Path by Patricia Monaghan, and I assume you can still find it and buy it online. Maybe you might have to go to a used bookshop because it's probably not in print anymore, but there you have it. So what we're going to do now is I recorded, I talk a lot on Priestess at the Altar about going to the goddess, right? The transcendent goddess, as we've just talked about, for support and comfort and refuge. It's the whole reason I started Priestess at the Altar, is because I knew that people were suffering, and I wanted to share my own experience with suffering and being able to turn to her for release. So I wrote this poem called Take Me In. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that it speaks to you and speaks to your heart. One of the ways in which I find that comfort and feel close to her is to write poetry to her and for her. So if that is not a practice that you've engaged in, I would recommend that. Put what's in your heart. Tell her what you believe about her and what you don't believe. Tell her what you want to believe about her as you create your own personal theology and belief system. So with that, I give you Take Me In.
When I was born onto this path, I drew maps from the stars of my astrological chart. South Node, North Node, that grand fire trine. When the fire is yours, it burns the light of my soul bright. When it's mine, it sometimes destroys. Sometimes. Oh, goddess, take me in. And you say, come to the galaxy where my heart lies. Come to where you can heal yourself. And you say, give me your self-critic. Leave her here to be loved. And I say, take me in. Take me in. You say, I will shelter you until the supernova and grant you the confidence of Tereshkova. And then you sing me back to the earth. When I sprout gossamer threads and soar these heights of ecstasy never dreamed before, amazed by the gifts of your grace. But I remember I caress and fear for my wings to be shredded and crash back through the stratosphere. Oh, goddess, I am blinded by the light. And you say, come to the corona of my life-giving force. Come tether yourself to me. And you say, you cannot fly too high. My love is limitless. And I say, take me in. Take me in. You say, I will never place limits on your growth or your joy. My love and your passion are the alchemical alloy. And you launch me back into the sky. I strain to hoist sails against the wind. Sometimes I fear the swell of the mission will break over the bow and drown me. The waves come rushing in. I cannot see the shoreline beyond my doubt. Oh, goddess, will you come close? And you say, come to the harbor of my embrace. And you say, lay your head on my shoulder, surrender your fears, come and let go. And I say, take me in, take me in. You say, I will hold you until the sun breaks through, and together we will weather the storm of you. And then you set me on dry land. There are no signs on this desert road. The night curls around everything like a ghost. I'm afraid nothingness lies beyond the black horizon. I feel like there are too many miles to go and I might never make it home. Oh, goddess, reveal yourself. Take me in, take me in. And you say, come to the mesa of my love. Come home to your creator. Crawl inside the heart of your mother. Let go your efforts. Come and release. And I say, take me in. Take me in. You say, my child, I have loved you and will continue to love you for thousands of lives, and you always question your faith when this moment arrives. And you send me right back to my path. Oh, goddess, take me in. Take me in. This is a poem called Take Me In. When I was born onto this path, I drew maps from the stars of my astrological chart. South Node, North Node, that grand fire trine. When the fire is yours, it burns the light of my soul bright. When it's mine, it sometimes destroys. Sometimes. Oh, goddess, take me in. And you say, come to the galaxy where my heart lies. Come to where you can heal yourself. And you say, give me your self-critic. Leave her here to be loved. And I say, take me in. Take me in. You say, I will shelter you until the supernova and grant you the confidence of Tereshkova, and then you sing me back to the earth. When I sprout gossamer threads and soar these heights of ecstasy never dreamed before, amazed by the gifts of your grace. But I remember I caress and fear for my wings to be shredded and crash back through the stratosphere. Oh, goddess, I am blinded by the light. And you say, come to the corona of my life-giving force. Come tether yourself to me. And you say, you cannot fly too high. My love is limitless. And I say, take me in, take me in. You say, I will never place limits on your growth or your joy. My love and your passion are the alchemical alloy. And you launch me back into the sky. I strain to hoist sails against the wind. Sometimes I fear the swell of the mission will break over the bow and drown me. The waves come rushing in. I cannot see the shoreline beyond my doubt. Oh, goddess, will you come close? And you say, come to the harbor of my embrace. And you say, lay your head on my shoulder, surrender your fears, come and let go. And I say, take me in, take me in. You say, I will hold you until the sun breaks through, and together we will weather the storm of you. And then you set me on dry land. There are no signs on this desert road. The night curls around everything like a ghost. I'm afraid nothingness lies beyond the black horizon. I feel like there are too many miles to go and I might never make it home. Oh, goddess, reveal yourself. Take me in, take me in. And you say, come to the mesa of my love. Come home to your creator. Crawl inside the heart of your mother. Let go your efforts. Come and release. And I say, take me in, take me in. You say, my child, I have loved you and will continue to love you for thousands of lives, and you always question your faith when this moment arrives. And you send me right back to my path. Oh, goddess, take me in, take me in.
I hope that you enjoyed that poem of mine. I hope that it spoke to your heart. And if you are struggling today, I hope it brings you some peace. So, the takeaway from today and the message that I leave you with is examine what you believe about immanence versus transcendence. And does the belief that she is both, does that belief work for you? And if it doesn't, find out what does work for you. And as I said earlier, one of the tried and true methods that I have used to feel that connection to her is to write poetry for her and about her. So that is your takeaway for today. Thanks for watching Priestess at the Altar, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Until then, may the love and the peace of the goddess be with you. The girl